see
Okay,
now.
ladies and gentlemen, this is bout number 11, which is a featherweight contest scheduled for 3 rounds of 3 minutes. And introducing your boxers. Firstly, boxing out of the red corner, we're in the all red with white trim. And representing Germany, give it up for Ousainou Hansen. And across the ring, his opponent boxing out of the blue corner, wearing all blue with white trim, representing Denmark, give it up for Frederik Lundgaard Jensen. Your referee at the bell, Mr. Tony Buff of England.
So an interesting matchup here. Ousainou Hansen from Germany, boxing in red from the red corner up against Jensen. Lundgaard from Denmark in blue. And as I say, Ousainou Hansen, the German fighter, Gambian born, moved to Germany as a family when he's 9 years old. His twin brother Hassan fights at 63.5 kilos. They made a pact when they started boxing that would never fight one another. They fell in love with boxing after trying pretty much every sport. They said they fell in love with it the first time they tried it when their dad took them to the gym. They love watching the Klitschko brothers. And they said they're massive fans of the Olympics, and in particular they loved Usain Bolt, Rosie. So it's certainly been a target for both twin brothers to secure qualification for Paris 2024. He's in against a tricky southpaw Danish opponent here. As I say, 13-time national champion Jensen Lundgaard, and EU bronze medalist, 7-time Nordic champion and gold at the GB tournament in Finland last year. Very different styles.
Yeah, he's obviously the boy from Denmark, very, very rangy, much taller, probably a bit tricky. Obviously being a southpaw as well makes that range even further to close down for the boxer in red. But he's physical, the boxer in red. If he can get inside that range, I think the boy in blue will have a bit of trouble.
Mixing up his guard, Lundgaard, as well. Sometimes a high guard, sometimes low. I think when he's putting that high guard up, it's to try and invite Ousainou Hansen on, isn't it?
Definitely. I'd like to see the German boxer pick up points to the body as well, and because he's obviously got a big target, the boy in blue, to the body. So yeah, it'd be nice to see him try and work up and down, and maybe get inside that range. At the moment he's sitting a bit on the edge of his range, which isn't really working for him.
Yeah, both fighters trying to figure out just how to get at one another here. Nice work there from Hansen, who managed to just slip the long levers of Denmark's Lundgaard and come back with a nice shot of his own. Definitely got the height and reach advantage, the Danish fighter in blue, Rosie.
Definitely, yeah, and that's why it's so important for the German boxer to just, oh, there's a good shot landed from him there, just to close that range and then let his hands go. He can't afford to stand on the edge of his range and let single shots go all the time, because he won't come off better. But he's had some success there with some good sharp shots.
Doesn't waste any energy at all, Hansen, does he? He's very economical. Tries to be really accurate with his shots. He certainly doesn't throw for the sake of it. He's very, very carefully choosing his shots, Rosie.
No, definitely. It's, as you said, in amateur boxing, it can only be that one eye catcher that swings around. So good work for the man in red.
Nice backhand there from Hansen that lands on the Danish fighter in blue. Ousainou Hansen in red, fighting for Germany. Jensen Lundgaard, the Danish fighter in blue. Real clash of styles this. The tall, rangy fighter from Denmark adopting that low guard, which he seems to favour. Occasionally brings up his hands to a high guard position, perhaps to encourage Hansen to throw when he's not throwing. Yeah, perhaps that could be part of his plan tactically, Rosie.
It's also difficult to see shots when they come from the waist at times. If you're long and rangy and you know you're out of range, it's hard to see the shots come in from the waist. But I do think the German boxer had some good success there. He seemed to land the more eye-catching shots. Be interested to see after the scores if he steps up and, well, who comes out what way in this next round.
Yeah, I agree, and we were saying that earlier this morning in the morning session, Lewis Richardson and I, that it's difficult, as we can see on the replay here. You can see low hands, so a low guard as we would call it in boxing for Jensen Lundgaard, which what Rosie's explaining is that if those hands are not in your eye line as the opponent, it's really difficult bringing that jab up, especially if they snap it up quickly or nip him with the backhand as the Danish fighter did there. Really difficult to see it coming with any real notice because it's snapped up quickly.
Definitely.
In a low hanging position, it's out of your eye line. So
yeah.
That's what I'm saying, that you would think having that low guard would invite someone on, but often it doesn't. It deters them because they're not sure how to judge it. So maybe from time to time when Lundgaard is bringing his hands together in a high guard position, it's to invite Hansen on perhaps, so then he can counter.
And also, obviously, when you're punching from low, it pushes the head back because the angle doesn't even have to be a hard shot, so it can obviously make the boxer a bit reluctant, really, to put that pressure on and have his head pinged back, even if it isn't a strong shot.
He's very, very considered, Hansen.
It's good for the man in red.
German fighter in red. He doesn't waste anything at all, Rosie. He's extremely controlled, isn't he?
Very, very efficient, and he's actually having, despite sort of standing on the end of the range, he's quick enough that he is then having success as he lets his hands go.
And it's a pressure of sorts, isn't he? Because although he's not throwing and bowling in and marauding forward, as you've just seen there, he's always in range, isn't he?
Yeah.
Just holding his feet, not giving any ground, ready to pounce when there's an opening. It's really intelligent pressure, and you can, as the opponent, you can feel that pressure as they're stepping in right in front of you in that pocket all the time, even if they're not throwing.
Yeah, definitely, and I think
it sort of forces you to do something, doesn't it?
Definitely, and I think what the boxer blue's got to be very careful of is he seems to get caught at the end of his own exchange. You know, it seems like the boxer red's waiting for the boy in blue to throw, and then he's catching him on the way out, and that might be due to that low guard. You see, he's not bringing his hands back, and he's getting caught on his way out.
As we saw there, Lundgaard just stepped in with that shot to the body, but very quickly Hansen replied with 2 shots of his own. Really intelligent boxing this, and another really good backhand for the German fighter. He's controlling the space, he's controlling the pace. He just controls the range the whole time. And
the Denmark boxer also looks a little bit panicked, you know, in those exchanges. He doesn't look as calm. He's very calm at his range. A little bit frantic, isn't it? Yeah, he's very calm when he stood off, but as soon as they start exchanging, he's panicked. You know, he looks like a strong boy, the lad in blue, so maybe he's getting to him with his power. And again there,
finding it difficult to find a way through. Hansen is he cuts an imposing figure in the sense that, as I say, he holds his feet, controls the pace, controls the distance, doesn't give any ground, but he's just waiting to pounce. Extremely controlled performance, tactically really intelligent, as he's forcing the Danish fighter to have to come forward, who clearly is more comfortable counter-punching.
Yeah, definitely.
But the German fighter's got the confidence and composure not to dive in and allow him to counter.
Yeah, it's his timing that's effective. He's timing in very, very well. He might not have the range, but as soon as the boy from Denmark misses, he's quick with those counters, and he's very good, the German lad, to fidget in with that jab and then turn it into a real jab as well. And he's had a lot of success with his own jab, despite being the significantly short man.
Another subtle thing that Hansen does at times as well is just that tiny little stamp forward.
Yeah,
that little drop of the shoulder. Tiny foot feint. Just a little stamp with that front foot, little drop of the shoulder, to sort of make it look like he's going to throw and pull the trigger, and he doesn't. And that, of course, triggers Lundgaard. And then that split second, again, those margins are so fine. As soon as he's sort of bought the bait, taken the bait, then Hansen fires back. Seeing some of his work there on the replay. Again, look at those tiny little feints with his upper body and his feet as well. And he's constantly keeping Lundgaard guessing. But an incredibly controlled performance, this, Rosie. It's rare that you see this amount of control, isn't it? That somebody's controlling the distance, the timing, and having that patience. Because when you're in with a counter-puncher, it is tempting just to go at them. And it's a bit of a standoff, and you've got to be secure in yourself that you're going to be able to do that and land.
Well, definitely when you're against someone with such a significant reach advantage to yourself. So, yeah, he's done very well. He's been very, very effective. Well, the boy from blue's come out, you know, he looks like he needs to win this last round, so he's again putting the pressure on with a tighter guard now. If you've noticed, his hands are significantly higher than they started in the bout.
You can tell now that this has started to heat up, as the Danish fighter will feel, Rosie, that he's got work to do here, and he's having to open up now, and he's
got to be careful. He's got a higher
Consequently
guard,
taking some
but
shots from Hansen.
yeah, he's got a higher guard, but he's also then more of a sitting target. He's standing stiller on his feet, so although he's having a little bit of success of his own now, so maybe having the higher guard and not getting caught is, you know, is working better for him in this case.
And that's the difficulty, isn't it? Stick or twist, especially in these final rounds. If you feel that you're possibly behind, or you need to get that final round to make sure, by stepping in and taking the odd risk, it can have its consequences, or you can have great success. What will it be for the Danish fighter? We do feel here that the German fighter in red, Hansen, is ahead, but who knows? Judges may have it differently, of course. Danish fighter has definitely come forward more in this round, Rosie.
Definitely, and he's had a bit of success, but he's just got to be very careful after his exchanges and not telegraph what he's going to throw, especially with that backhand.
It does look like he's got a bit of power in that backhand, Hansen, doesn't he? He's landed some of those that look like they have hurt Lundgaard.
Yeah, and watch Lundgaard in the corner as well. You could see his face was a bit marked up.
Absolutely, yeah, and he was breathing heavily. He did look body language-wise a little dejected as well, as opposed to what we saw in Hansen's corner. He was looking confident, wasn't breathing heavily, because it's his style of boxing is not one which requires a great deal of
but he's got a big presence, you see, so as much as he's not punching, he's still pressuring.
Really interesting style. We've seen this before from Ousainou Hansen.
Just had his gum shoulder knocked out there though.
We've seen this before from in his previous contests. He does do this. He controls the range, the distance, the timing. Really impressive.
Yeah, and if you look at both the man from Denmark now, he's tired. He's got his arms on the sides of the rope. That's not a thing we're told not to do in the corner to show that you're tired, but you can see he's really feeling the pace.
He's breathing very, very heavily now. 30 seconds remaining in this one.
Getting a bit desperate as well.
I think he's going to throw everything at him, but he's got to be cautious at the same time, because Hansen is still not giving ground, holding his feet and just prepared to fire back. When the Danishman comes in, we've seen him unleash some shots there. Didn't land quite cleanly, but you can't help but feel if they did, Rosie, you'd be in trouble, the Dane. Doing everything that he can here, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's really trying to push forward, impose himself on the German fighter, but to not a great degree of success. He's struggling to find a way through. Nice shot to the body, though, from
He's landed that
Lundgaard.
a couple of times in this round, in fairness to him, but it's also a bit desperate, I think, and he's got to be careful what's coming back. I can imagine they've told the man in red that he's up, and just to take care of this round.
Closing seconds of this one then. Last gasp attempt for Lundgaard to try and land a couple of big shots on Hansen, but he finishes it with the backhand of his own. Good performance from both fighters, but from our vantage point here, you would have it in favour of Hansen, that one.
Yeah, you can't take anything away from the boy in blue. You know, he gave us all in that bout. It's just, I think the German lad was the better boxer on the day. He definitely gave us all, he didn't give up, and yeah, that was definitely a tough contest for the man from Denmark.
Yep, Ousainou Hansen from Germany, Gambian born. His twin brother Hassan fights as well. Both of them have their eyes set on qualification for Paris 2024. What a story that would be if both brothers were able to do that. They did make a pact that would never fight each other. So this, the featherweight 57 kilo category. His brother Hassan fights at 63.5 kilos. Let's see.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, bout number 11, please show your appreciation for both boxers. So, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of boxing, we go to the scorecards where your officials at ringside score a unanimous decision victory in favour of your winner. Boxing out of the red corner, it's Ousainou Hansen. A round of applause, both boxers.
No surprise there, not only that Ousainou Hansen got the decision, but that it was a unanimous decision, quite rightly so as well, Rosie.
Yeah.
A great performance, superb display of control when it came to timing, distance, managed the fight in a really dominant fashion in every department. Obviously a bit seeing the replays here for the Danish fighter, who gave absolutely everything there. He's just made his way out of the ring and is a little bit unwell at the side of the ring. He's being checked over by the doctor.
Yeah, that's a good thing here. We've got doctors on
vomiting at the
side.
side of the ring, which sometimes can happen when you've given absolutely everything with that adrenaline, that lactic acid. It can happen where the body responds by emptying its contents.
Yeah, he'd emptied the tank in there as well. He gave us absolutely all. You could see the way he was breathing.